I'm Bryson Dean, and this morning I have the privilege of interviewing Collin Kerstetter, who has been chosen as Group of the Month at the Johnson County, Iowa City Senior Center, and she is in the fitness division, and so I'd like to welcome her to this interview and get to know more about her and her wonderful classes. So this is Collin, and
Thank
Collin,
you, Bryce.
would you tell me a little bit about yourself and perhaps what you do in Iowa City in general, and why you started these particular groups that you have going?
Well, I've been in Iowa City about 20 years. We moved here when the kids were young, and when they kind of started leaving the nest, I was looking for things to do, and one day I was loading the water softening salt, which weighs about 40 pounds, and I couldn't do it. I thought, I've got to start working on it. So that kind of re-piqued my interest in fitness. So I got my certification to be a personal trainer and a group fitness leader, and have been teaching classes for probably, I want to say 13, 14 years. And I started here at the Senior Center, actually, and do several different modalities of fitness, cardio as well as strength and stretching, and a new program called Eccentrics. So it's been kind of evolving over the years. So something I really enjoy doing.
Well, and I'm kind of piqued my interest in eccentrics, but I think perhaps for each of the different modalities that you present, it might be helpful to people viewing this program if you could share a little bit as if they didn't know quite what they were getting in for.
Okay. Well, here at the center, I teach a strength and stretching class, and it's primarily 90% from the chair. And everybody is doing the same exercise at their particular level. So somebody might be doing 2-pound weights and somebody might be doing 10-pound weights, but we're all working our muscles to maximum. And we try, and that's 30, 40 minutes depending on the format. I try to target each major muscle group in that time. And then we do spend a few minutes standing and working on balance, which is incredibly important as we age, to keep that balance component in our program. So that's my chair class. And then I teach Zumba, which kind of, it complements, because strength training, you should probably do maybe 2 or 3 times a week, just for all the benefits that it gives you, the bone building and the heart. But the cardio is something different, and that's what Zumba is a cardio workout to music. So it's really a fun way to burn off calories. And I have 3 different levels of Zumba, so anybody can do it. I have a high intensity class that's about an hour, and we learn a lot of different genres of cumbia, salsa, merengue, cha-cha, bachata, waltz, but it's not a technique class. You're going to learn it, but not because I'm going to sit there and teach it to you, because we want to keep the heart rate up. So we just keep the music going, and you pick it up. And so the higher intensity, we do there's some turns and some bouncing and stuff. And I don't break anything down as a rule. And then I have a gold class, which is modified, same genres of music, but the choreography is modified, so there's not much impact. So your knees don't take a hit, your feet don't take a hit. You're still moving in lots of different directions, and your balance is still being challenged. And I will break down the choreography. So we take time to do that so people can feel a little more confident and successful. And that is 30 or 40 minutes, depending, again, on the format. And then I have a chair Zumba class, which is for people whose balance is compromised but still wants to get a cardio workout. And you can really get that heart rate up sitting in the chair. And we do use props and stuff. And again, we'll do the cha-cha in the chair, and we'll do the cumbia and the merengue. Haven't done the waltz in the chair yet, but so that's just kind of a breakdown of some of the things that I teach here.
And how long have you been doing groups? I think you mentioned.
Since 2002.
Mm-hmm.
So I don't have a facility of my own. I work full-time, so I rent different places around town.
Mhm.
And so the senior center is one of my venues. So I've been here since 2002.
I think that leads into, because this is the senior center and people, you do have to be a member to take your classes?
Some of the classes you do. I don't think they require membership for the Zumba class. That they can come in off the street for that one. But the other ones, they do require registration and membership, yes.
And how does that work? In other words, how much do your classes cost for the students?
And that depends on the length of the class. And it's kind of a complicated formula. But what I do is sell punch cards.
I see.
And they don't expire, so they are transferable, you know. And so let's say you're coming to a 30-minute class. I'll sell a $30 punch card that's good for 10 classes, and we just cross it off. And so if you have a doctor appointment or you're not feeling well, you don't lose any money. Or if you go out of town for any length of time. If you came to if you came to 2 of my classes, you could do 2 punches, you know, and it's just kind of complicated, but it allows people a lot more flexibility and freedom. And those punch cards are transferable to my other classes out in the community if those classes are not a scheduled format. Some of my classes I do an 8-week.
You mean where it's more cumulative, so you can't just drop in?
Right, right. So yes. So does that answer your question? It's kind of complicated. It's $3, $4, or $5 depending on what.
Well, I know from being a member of the senior center that classes vary. So I think
right,
that
and it's
explains
dependent
it
upon
quite well.
dependent on the instructor. And some people take the strength class and then they stick around and want to do a cardio class, a Zumba class. And some of them want to do the standing Zumba class, and some of them want to do the sitting Zumba class. So we kind of work those punch cards to everybody's advantage.
Well, I want to pick up on the fact that you're a personal trainer as well, because this kind of feeds into my next question. It would seem to me, let's say we have a member who's just had a surgery or they aren't quite sure, maybe they're starting to use a walker or something. Now, can they come to you, number one, for personal training, or number two, could they come to you or make an appointment with you to determine of your variety of classes what might work for them the best?
Right. Yes, I do personal training. I am a licensed personal trainer, and I really enjoy working with people one-on-one. It's just a different format than the group fitness classes. And what I like to do is sit down with somebody, and it's an assessment, an individual assessment, and it will target people's fitness levels, their upper and lower body strength, and their upper and lower body flexibility, and then their cardio output and their balance. So those different categories. And so there's a series of little things that we take you through, nothing at all stressful. And then I take the numbers, and then I will compare them to other, say women who are 70 years old, in that, target, whatever. And then they know where they stand in relationship in a national average of other 70-year-old women in balance. Okay, I'm 60%. Oh, okay, in upper strength, I'm 90. And in flexibility, I'm 25. Okay, well, flexibility, maybe you, and that's what we would target. And it's a nice baseline, and I like it because if people come back in a year, they have a definitive grade there, and they can see if there's been improvement in particular areas. So sometimes people like to work with me personally, which is fine, and sometimes I will just plug them into a yoga class or a Pilates class or a strength class or a balance class. But so it provides that baseline.
So I really like that idea of how individualized what you're doing is. But I'm kind of curious on a logistics level, so if, I'm sure there must be plenty of the viewers out here saying, oh, that really sounds great. So how would they sign up? How would they
Okay.
get integrated into one of
Well,
your
they could call the
classes?
senior center, or the information is in the catalog if they want to contact me, email or my phone number. And the assessment, I generally have to do in a facility where I've measured out, because the cardio, we do a 6-minute cardio test, and so we can use a treadmill if people feel comfortable on a treadmill.
Mhm.
Sometimes they don't, and we will walk the hall, and I'll measure it. And after I get those numbers, I can come to people's home and do this, if, you know, and I have several clients that, it's just hard for them to get out.
Mhm.
You know, so I'll just bring whatever I need into the home and work with them one-on-one, or we can meet here, but space tends to be kind of at a premium, or I've met with people at other places too,
Mhm.
so, yeah.
So they can basically use the senior
Mhm.
center program guide information.
Right.
To touch base with
Mhm.
you, because
Mhm.
that sounds good,
Yeah.
to be able to individualize, and then they can.
Right, and some
Very-
people, all it needs, they only need a little push 2 or 3 times of personal
Mhm.
training. Oh, you know, and it's a confidence thing, you know,
Mhm,
and
mhm.
just to work with them and make sure their technique, and then maybe take them into a class.
Into a class. I
you
was
know,
thinking the same thing.
You know, because,
Uh-huh.
you know,
That
personal
sounds good.
training can be a little bit more expensive than a class.
Right, and
And-
the class has the added
Mhm.
advantage of the
socialization, which is incredible, and
wonderful.
accountability.
And again,
You know, I mean,
right,
if you meet
right.
people and they're expecting you to come, you're more apt to come.
Mhm,
So,
mhm.
but yeah, so the personal training, it can just get a lot of people that just want the assessment, just
Mhm.
to see where they're at
Okay.
in comparison to other people. And some people want to work, you know, I've worked with people for 3 years. Most people don't want to work that long. They just
Sure.
want to, you know, just kind of get a little nudge. What do I
Mhm.
need, and what's going to be the most beneficial for my situation?
Mhm.
And then they can come back. I encourage people to come back in a year or 6 months or whatever and retake it.
Well, that's what
So,
I was wondering. You mean retake the
Mhm.
assessment?
Yeah,
So that
mhm.
they
So
can,
they can
because that
see-
was one of my
right, mhm.
questions, but in talking to you, it kind of becomes a lot more nuanced,
Uh-huh.
because you do a variety of
Mhm.
things, talking about expected outcomes.
Mhm.
So people could set a personal goal and then be reassessed
Right,
to
mhm,
see
mhm,
if
mhm.
they've met it or
Right.
exceeded
Mhm.
it or need to change it in
Yeah.
some way. It also, I like the idea that you do the personal assessment, because a class might sound good, but a person might get into it and find out,
Mhm.
no, I'm really-
Yeah, well,
really
in
can't
any
do
of my
this.
classes, you know, I usually let people try a class for free.
Okay,
You know,
that's
which,
good.
without making a commitment, because, yeah, it is intimidating. If you have not worked out, I understand completely.
Mhm.
It can be overwhelming and a little intimidating, and,
Mhm, mhm.
you know, we all have those people that like to stay in the back row, and,
Yes, yeah.
so, yeah.
But one
Yeah.
thing that has impressed me so much about the senior center is people taking advantage of your classes, and people open like you, but also seeing people who have been through surgery, which is always a setback in
Mhm,
the personal
mhm.
fitness level, and then still coming back on their own, either working out in our fitness rooms
Mhm.
or going to a class like yours. So
Yeah.
it's wonderful. The other thing too is, perhaps for our viewers who might not be that familiar with the senior center or comfortable with getting there around, where do you meet and when do you meet at the center?
I meet downstairs in G13, which is a really nice floor and room. It's got mirrors and a nice floor. So I'm usually here on Mondays and Wednesdays between 8 and 11. And I do 4 classes. On a typical day, I'll do a Zumba Gold, then I'll do the strength training, then I'll do another Zumba Gold, and then I'll do a chair Zumba class,
Mhm.
Mondays and Wednesdays.
Those are all the questions I have, but is there anything that you feel you'd like to amplify or comment on?
I am, if I can find a place here this fall, I'd like to offer, it's called Eccentrics, Aging Backwards. and it is a wonderful workout, a wonderful fitness. Anybody can do it, any age, and it's a strengthening and stretching program, not using any weights or any equipment. It's all body weight, and it's kind of a combination of ballet, yoga, tai chi, and Pilates. And we do get down on the floor. Well, this is just kind of a side. I really like to dance, but many years ago I got cut from the program. Never quite made it. But and so this appealed to my dance background because it works a lot with posture and the back and the spine. But anyway, eccentrics is something I'm really looking forward to offering here in the center, and perhaps that'll be in the afternoon if there's a room available for that. So yeah, the senior center is wonderful. I can't say enough nice things about it. Bryson alluded to the cardio room and the weight room, the circuit room. Top notch.
Yes.
Yep. Very well kept, very clean. Yes, it's just very nice. So yeah, come down and see us. We've got something for you.
I think she said it all. I really don't have anything to add, but I would certainly appreciate your coming in.
Okay,
and
well,
your
thank you so
willingness
much
to
for the
share.
opportunity to do this.
It's
I
been
appreciate
just
it.
great.
Thank you,
It's
Bryson.
been
You did
wonderful.
good.
And as she said, come down and see us.
Hi, I'm Collin Kerstetter. Thank you for joining us today. We're going to spend the next few minutes working your major muscle groups, utilizing a lot of different exercises, some using weights, some using body leverage. Minimal equipment is required. I've got 2 sets of weights, a heavier set for some of your stronger muscles, and then a lighter set for some of the muscles that can't be strained in that capacity. You can use a set of weights, and then you can use your fist for some of these too. Those are a couple options that you have. Please make sure that you have your physician's approval prior to beginning any exercise regimen. And you're in charge. I'm just facilitating, so I want you to listen to your body over my words. So if something hurts, back off. We can modify anything that we do in here. If you get tired, if you get fatigued, you can reduce your weights. You can switch out and just use your fist. I'm going to be doing 10 reps of every set, so you can minimize that and do 8 or 4 or every other one. So you determine the intensity of what we're going to be doing here today. So let's begin. We're going to start with a warm-up, and the warm-up is exactly what it says. It's just to limber up your muscles and get them ready for strengthening. So we'll just start with your right arm, and we're going to just swing it across, up and back, like a figure 8. Nice and slow and loose. No force on this. We're just moving the blood around. So your elbows are loose, your fingers are loose, your shoulders are loose. We'll just do about 10. And then we'll switch to the other side. And over the course of what we're going to be doing here in the next few minutes, you might notice a definite difference one side over the other. And that's very, very normal. Just work with it. One shoulder might not be quite in the same spot as the other shoulder. Okay, now we're just going to reach and reach. We're not trying to touch the ceiling. We're just loosening up our muscles. So the arms are soft, the fingers are soft, the elbows are soft. We're going to go through a series of these, pumping the blood around, reaching to the side, getting your vertebrae involved a little bit. And then we're going to go down to the floor, not to the floor, in that direction. And this starts engaging the lower back a little bit. 7, 8, 9, and back midline. So just reach. The blood's flowing to the fingertips here. Very important. Get that blood moving. Up again. We'll do one more series of each station. If you're getting tired, just rest. and to the side. Or just back it off. You don't need to go so deep. Again, listen to your body. It'll talk to you. And down, one more. Twisting the spine, warming it up a little bit. Okay. Moving to your legs, we're just going to do a little flea kick from the knees. Soft, sitting tall. And lift. 2, tightening the core. Now, to the best of your ability while we're working, if you can keep your back away from the back of the chair. Let's kick again. And that encourages you to engage those tummy muscles. And it gives you a lot more freedom here. One more lift. Okay. So, muscles are warm, they're loose. We're going to start with what I call shadow boxing, and we're going to do 4 sets. Normally we won't do that many, but so that's why I'm suggesting a lighter set of weights on this one. And so you've got 2 weights, and widen your stance here a little bit, and that's just for stability. And again, sit tall. Home base is your hips. We want the weights to come back to your hips every time because there's momentum involved in this, and if you don't, you could hurt your shoulders. So this stops the weight and protects yourself. So engage, cross punch, palm down. Full extension without locking your elbow. So this is an arm toner and your shoulders. 7, 8, 9, again. 1, and again, there's nothing sacred about the number 10. That's just the number I selected. Okay, now let's bring your knees together and punch toward the floor. Little difference, you've got gravity working in your favor on the way down, and you're getting a little bit of an oblique twist and warming up the spine. Again, sitting tall. 1, 2, 3. So our muscles are being engaged pretty much throughout this one. Okay, so what I like to do is alternate upper body and lower body. So we're going to give our arms a rest and proceed to our legs. We're going to work the quadriceps and the ankles. Ankles are very important for balance. And quads, what I call these your independence muscles. You've got to keep these muscles strong to maintain your independence so you can get out of a chair, so you can take stairs, so you can take a curb, get in and out of the car. So this is going to target this muscle. So again, sitting tall. If you need to, you can hold on. We're going to extend your right leg, and we're going to lift it up no higher. So you're using the weight of the leg, this lever, no higher than your knee. Lift, point, flex, take it down to a hover. Lift, point, flex, tight. Sit tall. 3, 2, 3, 4, 4. If you start to cramp, just shake it out. 6. Feeling that right here. A little bit of hip flexors. 8, 9, and 10. Okay. Switch. Extend. Minimize the rocking. We don't want to do that. We want to stabilize. Okay. Lift, point, flex, hover. Lift, point, flex, hover. 3, 2, 3, 4. So we don't, if you can, don't let your legs touch the floor because then your muscles relax. This way they stay engaged throughout. 7, 8, 9, and 10. Okay, give your legs a rest. Back to your arms. We're going to pick up heavy weights on this one. 2, we're going to work your biceps. And this is a strong muscle. We use this muscle a lot during the day, anytime we pick anything up. So it's pretty well developed. And traditional grip, thumb on the opposite side of your fingers. And I am going to put my thumb on the same side. It makes it a little harder because when you lift here, this thumb absorbs some of the weight. This way, it doesn't, and The bicep has to work a little harder, but you can, whatever works for you. So we're going to do 4 sets of these, and they're real small. And the first set, home base is your legs. So the first set, we're going to lift the weight so the forearm's parallel to the floor. Second set, we're going to start here and take it up to your shoulders. And then the third set is full range. Okay? So that being said, we're going to glue your arms. The only thing moving is elbow to weight, and that's just for your protection. Okay, we don't want to get the shoulders involved. All right, so sitting tall. Up, down. Real small movement, 2. But you'll start to feel this, squeezing the weight, relaxing your grip. Squeezing, relaxing. 6, 7. Nice and controlled, and you want to pause at the top and at the bottom. Okay, now home base is here. And that's to eliminate momentum and make the muscles work harder. 2, pause. 3, 4, 5. Now, breathing is very important. We don't want to hold our breath. So you exhale on the hard part of the exercise, which is the lift. 2 more. Inhale, exhale. Okay, full range. Legs to shoulders. Up and down. Squeeze. Relax. Exhale. Inhale. 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Okay, looking good. Okay, now just relax your grip and we're going to do 10 little pulses, up and down. 2, 3. Remember keeping those elbows close to your side. Okay, hold on and just lower the weights down, stretch out your biceps. Okay, good. We're going to go back to your legs, and again we're going to use your own body weight. And just to give you a little preface on this one, we're going to work your hip flexors and your inner thighs on this. And I venture to guess that 95% of your day is spent with your knees in this direction. You're either sitting, you're walking. If you do exercise, you're running forward, you're riding your bike forward, and your hips are meant to open. And we don't open them very often. And we get a lot of scar tissue built up in there. So we're going to open here. So again, sit tall. You're going to open 2, as wide as you can, and then close 1. So open, open, close. Open, open, close. You can do this with a weight also if you want. I didn't put one on my leg. 5,